right here in Phoenix.
I'm Autumn, and this is BB, and coming up,
Good afternoon. Welcome to the June 2nd formal meeting of the Phoenix City Council as well as the Facilities District. We will begin today's meeting with a moment of silence. The City of Phoenix lost one of our own, Officer New, this week. Officer New was responding to a call for service when tragically he was killed in a car accident. He has lived a life of service, including serving in the United States Marine Corps as an EMT. I have heard that he worked with children who loved him and was a fan of comic books and being involved in the community, hardworking, self-motivated. He leaves behind a wife, a brother, a mother, and a sister, as well as many grieving friends. We are grateful for his service, and I would ask you to join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. We appreciate that recognition for a lost member of the City of Phoenix family. With that, we will call to order the Park Central Community Facilities District Board of Governors. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Board Member Ansari. Board Member Conlon.
Here.
Board Member DeCiccio. Board Member Gervais. Board Member Guardado. Board Member O'Brien. Board Member Pastor. Board Member Stark. Board Member Waring.
Here.
Vice Chair Garcia.
Here.
Chairwoman Gallego.
Here. Thank you for joining us today. Board Member Conlon, do you have a motion on the December meeting minutes?
I move that the December board meeting minutes be approved.
Second.
We have a second from Councilwoman Stark. All those in favor, please signal aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Passes unanimously. Board Member Conlon, we move to item number 4. Do you have a motion?
I move for consideration of item number 4.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Ansari.
Yes.
Conlon.
Yes.
DeCiccio. Gervais. Guardado. O'Brien.
Yes.
Pastor.
Here.
Stark.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Thank you. Waring.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 9-0.
That concludes the business of this board. We are adjourned. Thank you to Board Member Conlon for joining us. We'll now call to order the formal meeting of the. We will now take a 30-second break between meetings. To WebEx. Wonderful. We will call to order the formal meeting on June 2nd of the Phoenix City Council. Thank you for joining us. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilwoman Ansari.
Here.
Councilman DeCiccio. Councilwoman Guardado.
Here.
Councilwoman O'Brien.
Here.
Councilwoman Pastor.
Here.
Councilwoman Stark.
Here.
Councilman Waring.
Here.
Vice Mayor Garcia.
Here.
Councilman DeCiccio.
Here.
Mayor Gallego.
Thank you for joining us. We have an interpreter here with us today. Mario, would you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Mayor. Hello, once again, my name is Mario Barajas. Today, I have the honor of serving as today's Spanish interpreter, and now I'll take a few moments to introduce myself to our Spanish-speaking audience. Muy buenas tardes a todos, mi nombre es Mario Barajas, y será mi placer el ser la persona asignada para facilitarles con la interpretación el día de hoy. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mario. Will the city clerk please read the 24-hour paragraph?
The titles of the following ordinance and resolution numbers on the agenda were available to the public at least 24 hours prior to this council meeting and therefore may be read by title or agenda item only. Ordinances numbered G 6718, 6853 through 6865, S 47590 through 47638, 47640 through 47648, and 47650 through 47657, and resolutions 21925 through 21928.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Garcia, have you had a chance to review the meeting minutes of March 18th, 2020?
Yes, I have, Mayor, and motion to approve the March 18, 2020 minutes.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signal nay. Passes unanimously. Councilman Waring, have you had a chance to review the formal meeting minutes of April 1st, 2020?
Move to approve the meeting minutes of April 1st, 2020.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. We next move to item number 3, but before we take a motion on that, I will turn to our city attorney to introduce the public comment portion of our meetings.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the public may speak for up to 2 minutes to comment on agenda items to be discussed. Comments must be related to the agenda item and the action being considered by the council. General comments that go beyond the scope of the agenda item must be made during the citizen comment session at the end of the agenda. Speakers must present their comments in a respectful and courteous manner. Profane language and personal attacks on members of the public, council members, or staff are not allowed. A person who violates these rules will lose their opportunity to continue to speak.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion on boards and commissions?
Yes, motion to approve Mayor and City Council boards and commission nominations.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. We move to items 4 through 7, our liquor license portion where we advise the state. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve items 4 through 7.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. City Clerk, are we ready for ordinances, resolutions, new business, and planning and zoning?
Yes, Mayor.
Vice Mayor, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve items 8 through 127, except the following. Items 29 through 35, 64, 66, 70, and 119 through 124, and 127. Items 55, 56, and 95 are continued to the June 16, 2021. Items 125 and 126 have been withdrawn. Item 109 is as corrected, and excluding these items for public comment, 68 and 86.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ansari.
Yes.
DeCiccio.
Yeah.
Guardado. O'Brien.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 9-0.
Wonderful. We next move to the budget portion of our meeting. Item 29 is a public hearing on the 2021-26 Capital Improvement Program. I will now declare the public hearing open. Is there anyone wishing to speak? The public hearing is now closed. And a reminder for folks who are watching, this was the public hearing on the Capital Improvement Program. We will have comments on the general budget in item 31. Item 30 is the 2021 Capital Improvement Program. Councilwoman Stark, do you have a motion?
You're on mute, Councilwoman.
I was trying to read my script here. Mayor, I move adoption of resolution 21928, the 2021-2026 Capital Improvement Program.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ansari.
Yes.
DeCiccio.
Yeah.
Guardado. O'Brien.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Waring.
Oh.
Garcia.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 8-1.
Item 31 is a public hearing on the adoption of the tentative 2021-22 annual budget ordinance. I will now declare the hearing open. We do have members of the public to address the council on this item. We will begin with Ann Ender, followed by Court Rich.
Good afternoon, Mayor Gallego, Vice Mayor Garcia, council members. Thank you once again for the opportunity to speak in favor of this 2021-2022 budget. In fact, I'm in favor of each penny that has been allocated to public safety. For several months, we've heard public demands that those funds that have been allocated to public safety be reallocated into our communities for more resources, mental health professionals, just to name a few. Well, Phoenix PD has the very same needs. They have the need to, they have the very same needs, funding for communities in order to hire and retain more civilians and sworn personnel in order to serve the communities in Phoenix. For resources, for technology that facilitates and expedites investigations along with the people that are needed to manage that technology. And lastly, behavioral health programs to help not only the community, but in terms of the crisis assistance program, but important today, as we've seen, sadly, some things unfold over the last 2 days, programs and professionals that are available to assist the entire department in terms of their well-being. So I just would like to say that I hope today's meeting we can maybe we can stop thinking about defunding the police and start thinking about what the police do for our communities, and that in doing so that honors the life of a young man who just lost his life in trying to keep our community safe. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We will next hear from Court, followed by RJ Shannon, our final speaker.
Good afternoon, Mayor. Can you hear me?
We can.
Thank you. Mayor, members of the council, my name is Court Rich from the Rose Law Group. I'm talking to you today as the Vice President of the Arizona Solar Energy Industry Association, and in support of what I think is a really important improvement that Phoenix is proposing in the budget that will help take the largest city in the Valley of the Sun and make sure that they are among the national leaders in helping their residents implement rooftop solar solutions and do it in an effective, cheap, inexpensive way while maintaining public safety. The budget includes new materials and staffing to improve the permitting experience in the city of Phoenix, and that's really doing a great service to the thousands of folks that work in the rooftop solar industry in the state, and also to those that are adopting rooftop solar very quickly in the Phoenix area. We're taking what is really sort of a negative right now with the city and turning it into a tremendous positive and positioning Phoenix to be a leader. I think there's something in this for everyone, whether you're interested in continuing to work towards clean air and environmental benefits, or if you're interested in reducing red tape for consumers and businesses and lowering costs for doing business with the city. So I just wanted to make that comment on behalf of the members, business members of the Arizona Solar Energy Industry Association, and thank the city and their staff for that support.
Thank you. RJ will be our final speaker.
Hi, good afternoon, Mayor Gallegos, City Council members and staff. Can you hear me?
We can.
Fantastic. Okay, so my name is RJ Shannon, and I'm the Community Gun Violence Prevention Leader representing the local Phoenix chapter of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense Law. So first, I just want to thank you for acknowledging our Wear Orange event. That is major for all of us who are survivors. We were started in 2013 by Shannon Watts, and we represent 50 states that advocate for laws, policies, programs, and interventions that support the public's health and welfare. I'm also a previous member and chair of the Phoenix Human Relations Commission under the leadership of Mayor Phil Gordon. And I spent many, many years serving on advisory boards to the Phoenix Police Department. So I graduated from PPD Citizen Academy a really long time ago. And I'm also a subcommittee member of the Fast Track Ad Hoc Committee for the City of Phoenix. So I just want to start by saying that Michelle Cousseau was a young and vibrant friend of mine whose mother requested that PPD conduct a wellness check on her daughter. And sadly, Michelle did not survive that visit. So it was a huge loss to her family and our community in 2015. This expansion of the CAP program hits home for me and many, many others. So to me, this is a new day in Phoenix, and it is exciting to see us move forward as a city with the public's health and all that that encompasses as the foundation for funding and policy. The Phoenix chapter of Moms Demand Action gives our support to the proposed 2021-2022 budget and the included funds to expand the CAP program to better serve the needs of our residents experiencing behavior and mental health crises. Those folks seeking help will receive it from professionals who are trained to offer their expertise and services. And we commend all of you, especially NOCAP, for committing to our community's welfare. So I really want to thank you for inviting Mom to share our voice and for allowing me to speak. Thank you.
Thank you to all who participated in today's hearing. The public hearing is now closed. We really appreciate the feedback. I believe our program for community assistance will be saving money and will be saving lives. And we want to appreciate the testimony about the importance of that program. It's also a good meeting today for the solar industry between energy code updates and putting additional resources in the budget. So I'm thankful for that. It looks like we are on pace to double solar permits in the city of Phoenix this year, and the budget will help us move forward in that area. We are #1 for solar installed on city facilities, and we want to have as much solar installed on private facilities as well in our community. Item 32 is the adoption of the tentative 2021-22 annual budget. Councilman Stark, do we have a motion?
Yes, Mayor. I move that item 32, being ordinance S-47591, the tentative 2021-2022 annual budget be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Council member questions or comments? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
No.
Guardado, O'Brien, Pastor. I apologize, Pastor.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
No.
Garcia,
No.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 6-3.
Thank you. An important budget that will invest in our city. Item 33 is the adoption of the tentative 2021-22 capital funds budget. Councilwoman Stark, do we have a motion?
Yes, Mayor. I move that item 33, being ordinance S-47652, the tentative 2021-2022 capital funds budget be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second from Councilwoman Pastor. Do we have any comments? Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
Yes.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Pastor, Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
No.
Garcia,
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 8-1.
Item 34 is the adoption of the tentative 2021-22 reappropriated funds budget. Councilwoman Stark, do we have a motion?
Yes, Mayor. I move that item 34, being ordinance S-47592, the tentative 2021-2022 reappropriated funds budget be adopted.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments? Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
Yes.
Guardado, O'Brien,
Yes.
Pastor, Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 9-0.
We move, and thank you to all who worked on this important budget process and who participated. We move to item 35, amendments to the rules of council proceedings. Will the city clerk please read the title?
Item 35 is for ordinance G6860, an ordinance amending and reorganizing Chapter 2, Article 2, Section 2-60 of the Phoenix City Code relating to the rules of council proceedings.
Do we have any questions or comments?
I have, Mayor,
Councilwoman Pastor.
I have some questions on the 8-hour rule.
Please go ahead.
I'm going to probably need staff to tell me exactly what page that is on. I highlighted it, but now I'm
Councilwoman, it's on page 102 of the packet.
okay, I was like, I highlighted it somewhere. The discussion and the purpose of the 8-hour rule was to figure out when the 8-hour rule came into play and at what point it was supposed to come into play. And when I reread the 8-hour rule, there's some language in here that I'm not really, it could be interpreted in many different ways. So when item A says no individual council member shall request any staff project requiring over 8 hours of staff work without seeking approval for full city council. there are times that we ask staff to look into something or to look at an item that maybe is a discussion or possibly could be a discussion in the future. How would we as an individual know that we are violating or asking staff to work over an 8 hours of work? How would we know at what point we would have to seek full city council?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Pastor, excellent question. That burden lies with staff. It lies with me, this is city manager, to inform you of that. You're correct. There's not a way that you would necessarily know that what you're asking would take over 8 hours. So if that happens, and I'm certain it would be inadvertent, then I would work with staff, and then I would inform the council member that what they're asking would require an 8-hour rule vote by the city council. But that rests with staff.
Okay, because I could see where we get into a discussion or a piece where we're talking about, I don't know, something global, maybe solar plant panels. And I could see myself asking, well, I really want to know the difference between this type of solar panels and this type of information and the possible cost of the difference and the efficiency and the effectiveness and some details that I would say, depending on who's doing it and how they're doing it, it could go over an 8-hour rule or it wouldn't go over an 8-hour rule. So what I'm hearing then, it's still, we're not solving the problem of at what point is an 8-hour rule triggered, because it's still a very subjective and it's up to staff. And that has always been the issue, or the reason why the 8-hour rule came about, or discussion, was because it's a subjective manner. And I don't think we're solving at what point, who makes that decision. And I heard city manager, but I also heard staff.
So Mayor, Councilwoman Pastor, yeah, what we're trying to do is to just bring more clarity to this. As it stands now in the rules, it is simply one sentence. And this is trying to just give some more parameters to it by listing things like ordinance development, coordinating and holding listening sessions, hearings, community input meetings. Those are things that take large blocks of time or large numbers of staff. I don't think there's any formula or specific formula we can give you for that. It is a judgment call. Ultimately, I have to make that call as to how much time I think is being required, and then I would just need to inform the council that it is something that requires more than 8 hours. But it's something that I would want to do in dialogue with you, not just out of the blue. So the commitment is for staff to work with you, but we're trying to just put some more rules, because what I heard from the council earlier this year was, as you're expressing, it was frustrating because sometimes staff would do things that clearly were more than 8 hours, and other times they would say, no, I can't do that. So we're just trying to put some more boundaries around it so that it's more clear up front, what it is we're trying to solve for.
Okay. Mayor, can I ask some further questions?
Please do.
Okay. So, Chris, I'm kind of wordsmithing as we go, because I read this late last night and was trying to digest what was written. It says no individual council member. Is it possible to make it more, a council member shall request any staff project requiring over 8 hours of staff work by first seeking approval of a full city council?
Mayor,
it's just because it's,
go ahead.
It's just because it's saying no individual. It's like no.
Mayor, Councilman Pastor, we could modify that sentence. I think the intent of adding the individual in there was to kind of distinguish it from paragraph B in particular that now addresses subcommittees trying to request it, which is a group of council members. So the word individual was put in there kind of try to distinguish that. We could form that in a more, reformat that and amend the ordinance in a more positive statement of that if that's what the council.
Well, I'm just saying, or even you can take the no out. A individual council member shall request any staff project requiring over 8 hours of staff work by first seeking approval of the full city council. I think we're reaching where we need to get to, but it's just not in a negative way.
Mayor, Councilwoman Pastor, yes, I believe that would address that unless the city manager sees an issue with that. I think we could make that change.
Okay. And then after that, then you're separating A and B is just basically, items can be placed on a subcommittee by the chair or by the mayor that do not require an 8-hour request. And then it goes into specifically what kind of requests can happen before an 8-hour rule triggers. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I'm fine. I just wanted to clear that up. Thank you.
Thank you. We ready for a roll call?
Mayor, we do need a motion.
Yeah.
Okay. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Motion to approve item 35?
Second.
Mayor, can I just clarify? Is that motion to include Councilwoman Pastor's revision to that sentence in 15A?
I hope so.
Okay. If so, let me just
That's
read
fine
this.
with me.
Let me read it and see if it meets the councilwoman's expectation. I would change it to say, an individual council member shall only request a staff project requiring over 8 hours of staff work by first seeking approval of the full city council. Does that work, Councilwoman Pastor?
Where did you put the only?
An individual council member shall only request a staff project requiring over 8 hours of staff work by first seeking approval of the full city council.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you. I think that meets your desire to put it into the positive. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a motion with an amendment on the floor and a second. Roll call.
Ansari?
Yes.
DeCiccio?
No.
Guardado? O'Brien?
Yes.
Pastor? Stark?
Yes.
Waring?
Yes.
Garcia?
Yes.
Gallego? Passes 8-1.
We next move to item 64, the 2021-22 CDBG Public Service Subrecipient Recommendations. I will turn to the Vice Mayor on this item.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'll make some comments before the motion. At the May 19th Land Use and Livability Subcommittee, we asked staff if additional federal funding could be identified to fund the remaining proposals submitted for this process. Based on an update from the staff since that meeting, I want to move to approve item 64 to award grant funding for the 28 programs recommended by the Community Development Review Committee and city staff with the following modifications. Use $155,168 of available prior year CDBG funds to, 1, fully fund the 3 proposals included in the item for partial awards as follows. $30,000 for Lifeology AZ Inc. and Raising Special Kids, $29,671 for Father Matters Inc. 2, fund the additional 5 responsive proposals as follows. $30,000 each for Ecclesia Christian Church, Mo Energy Youth Foundation, Rock Foundation, and then 22,562 for Refugees and Immigrants Community for Empowerment, RICE. And last one, 21,410 for Chrysalis Veteran Services, Inc. And finally, based on fully funding the proposals mentioned, increase the not to exceed the amount of 936,718 for the 33 total funded awards.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Mayor,
Councilwoman Stark, followed by Councilwoman Pastor.
I just wanted to thank the vice mayor. We had this subject at our subcommittee, and he really fought to get some additional funding, and I thank him for that.
Thank you, Councilwoman Stark. Councilwoman Pastor.
I just have a question. Is the additional funding for these awardees, or it's awardees that were not funded? I guess they wouldn't be awardees. Sorry.
Staff can explain, but my understanding is that it's for both. So the ones that didn't quite make it, and then also adding more to those that did make it.
Thank you, Mayor and Vice Mayor and Councilwoman Pastor. That is correct. There's a combination here. We are fully funding 3 of the awards that prior to finding the additional funds, they were only partially funded, so we're making those proposals complete. And then we are also funding 5 additional agencies.
Okay, thank you for the clarity.
Thank you. Roll call.
Ansari?
Yes.
DeCiccio?
Yes.
Guardado? O'Brien?
Yes.
Pastor?
Yes.
Stark?
Yes.
Waring?
No.
Garcia?
Yes.
Gallego?
Yes.
Passes 8-1.
We next move to item 66, Greater Phoenix Economic Council. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion?
Motion to pass item 66.
Second.
Motion and a second from Councilwoman Pastor. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ansari?
Yes.
DeCiccio?
Yes.
Guardado? O'Brien?
Yes.
Pastor?
Yes.
Stark?
Yes.
Waring?
Yes.
Garcia?
Yes.
Gallego? Passes 9-0.
We next move to item 68, which is the amend redevelopment agreement with 3DC partners, an item in Council District 7. I will turn to District 7 Councilwoman Ansari.
Move to pass item 68.
Second.
We do have 2 members of the public to testify. We will begin with Ryan Boyd, followed by John Graham.
Afternoon, Mayor, can you hear me?
We can.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. My name is Ryan Boyd. I reside at 1069 West Taylor Street, and I'm a downtown resident. Here in support of item 68 here, there's been a lot of good progress in development in downtown, but also a lot of challenges with rising construction and the obviously challenging situations with the tourism industry as a whole due to the pandemic. So the 1-year extension here doesn't seem that bad. I will note that lots of downtown groups that I've sat in meetings with have had concerns originally with some of the variances that we're talking about, but ultimately this project helps fill in the teeth. It's a city-owned parking lot that can be really utilized because if you walk by it, it's the Hanny's parking lot. There's not a lot of cars there in the first place. And this would actually activate and make good on the Adams Street plan for activation, which is decades probably in progress, to really fill in and make it so that the city is walkable, vibrant, and there's more space for businesses and future development. And one of the great things is building now gives us opportunities to do things like convert to residential later and continue the progress here in downtown Phoenix. So I don't think it's a strange thing to ask for a 1-year hold on some of the terms of the RFP for completion, given the circumstances here, and support the project as an individual. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, members of council.
Thank you so much. John Graham is registered as the applicant, available to speak if necessary. Mr. Graham, would you like to speak? And if we could unmute John Graham, please.
One moment, Mayor. Mayor, it appears that he is no longer on the line.
Wonderful. Mr. Graham?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are registered to speak if necessary, so we thought we'd give you a moment if you'd
No,
like.
I appreciate it. So I'll keep this extraordinarily short. So Mayor Gaggo, City Council members, thank you for the opportunity to address you. This is a project that we've worked on for quite some time. Very excited about it. As Ryan just said, I think we agree with his view of it. We certainly didn't predict the pandemic and certainly not understood what it takes to run through and get out of one, but we remain fully committed to the project. We have the right team and the right project, and are very excited to continue to be a part of the downtown renaissance.
Thank you so much for your comments. Any council member discussion? Councilwoman Ansari.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I just want to voice my support for extending the construction commencement date for this project. We obviously know that COVID-19 was unprecedented and hurt hospitality and tourism here in Phoenix. Yet the team at 3DC Partners remains committed to bringing a very exciting, thoughtful project to downtown Phoenix and to a corner of the city that really needs it. In particular, I'm really excited about the fact that it's very much in line with the Adams Street activation study that the city has been working on for many years, and it will be a great addition to a bustling area in downtown. On top of the build, they're working to expand the pedestrian experience with shade and lighting and street furniture and art. I also want to note that this project is not receiving any financial incentives from the city. It's paying full market value of the property as appraised and provided for in the RFP. And what was once a $61 million project is now a $97 million investment, bringing up many, many benefits to our city, including benefiting our city and schools through tax revenue. So while I wasn't on the council during the early planning of this project, I'm very excited to see it through. So I'll be voting yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Roll call.
Ansari.
Yes.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Guardado. O'Brien.
Yes.
Pastor. I'm sorry, Pastor?
I'm sorry, yes.
Thank you. Stark.
Yes.
Waring. I apologize. Waring.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Garcia.
No.
Gallego. Yes. Passes 7-2.
Thank you. We next move to a good news item, number 70, amendments to the Phoenix Fire Code and modification of the fire prevention fee schedule. Will the city clerk please read the title?
Item 70 is for ordinance G6854, an ordinance authorizing amendments to the 2018 International Fire Code with Phoenix amendments authorizing modifications to the Phoenix Fire Prevention Fee Schedule, Phoenix City Code, Chapter 15, Appendix A.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve item 70?
Second.
Yes.
Wonderful. An enthusiastic second, I think, from Councilwoman Stark, and I think I heard one other council member as well. This really is a good news item, the solar industry and clean tech came to us with opportunities to improve the ability to have solar in our community, and our fire department worked with them to move this forward. As solar innovates, we're going to have to continue to innovate as well, but we appreciate everyone who helped us move this forward, and I'm very excited about the potential for solar to double in Phoenix this year. We do have 3 members to address the council. We'll begin with Tyler, followed by Charles.
Hey, this is Tyler Beauchard on behalf of SunPower. We are very happy to support this motion, and aligning with the International Fire Code standards will enable the city, citizens, and contractors to have a much more efficient operation and save everybody a lot of money and get more solar on roofs.
Thank you. Nicely said. Charles will be followed by Mark Rodriguez. Charles, the floor is yours.
One moment, Mayor.
Hello.
Now we can hear
Thank
you.
you, Mayor. Yeah, there's just a little mute hang up there. I rather than speak to the technical merits of the code, I think that stands on its own. I did just want to speak on behalf of Tesla and thank Brian Scholl and the whole team at the Phoenix Fire Department and the city of Phoenix for just a genuine and collaborative process throughout the development of this language, and really just all just a general genuine effort to drive towards a common goal. So I really appreciate that effort. Urge the committee to vote in favor.
Wonderful. Thank you for your partnership. And we do have two different Mark Rodriguez's participating in today's council meeting, which I believe may be a first for us on WebEx of 2 individuals of the same name. So Mark Rodriguez of Sunrun would be the speaker on this one. Mark, can you hear us?
Hello.
Thank you, Mark. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Rodriguez, and I'm the Senior Jurisdiction Specialist for Sunrun and a proud former Marine, having served 9 years in the Corps. Sunrun is the country's largest residential solar, battery storage, and grid services provider. We proudly employ more than 100 Sunrunners at our Phoenix branch and serve tens of thousands of homes in the city of Phoenix. Thank you for the opportunity to express strong support for these amendments that will expand access to streamlined permitting processes for the installation of solar and storage systems. Phoenix residents are increasingly embracing home solar and battery storage, as evidenced by the substantial number of permit applications submitted each month. This demand will continue to increase as the city, corporation, commission, and APS adopt policies that support the deployment of residential solar and storage. The proposed changes will not only help the city's residents adopt more rooftop solar, but will help rooftop solar businesses reduce the red tape, costs, and time associated with permitting, while making certain that Phoenix maintains the highest standards for public safety. Streamlined, consistent permitting process will create better customer experiences, cut costs, and provide the fire department with tools needed to manage the influx of applications. In addition to improved processes, the proposed amendments make practical changes to fire access pathway requirements that support firefighter safety while allowing homeowners to maximize the benefits of installing solar and storage on their homes. We'd like to thank the Phoenix Fire Department for its ongoing collaboration with the industry, and we look forward to continuing the constructive dialogue as these policies are implemented. For these reasons, we encourage the committee to vote in favor of the proposed amendments. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much, Mark. Mark is our final public speaker on this agenda item. I'll turn to the council for comments.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Stark.
Thank you. My career was in this construction standards, building codes, and I will tell you, it really does take a partnership to make sure it works. I mean, the issues to make sure we have safe structures. And I've got to really commend the fire department and the solar industry to working together to really solve a problem and hopefully increase the use of solar. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any additional comments? Thank you. And there are additional items in the fire code updates that will further protect our city. We appreciate all who contributed to moving these forward. A great day for solar in the city of Phoenix. Roll call.
Ansari?
Yes.
DeCiccio?
Yes.
Guardado? I apologize. Guardado?
Yes, can you
Thank
hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much. O'Brien?
Yes.
Pastor? Stark?
Yes.
Waring?
Yes.
Garcia?
Yes.
Gallego?
Yes.
Passes 9-0.
Thank you. We next move to 86, an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Tempe for fiber infrastructure along Baseline Road. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve item 86.
Second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We do have one member of the public to address the council. We'll go to the phones for Mark Rodriguez.
Hello, Mayor Kate Gallego and everybody at the City Council. It's good to hear from you again. How are you doing today?
Doing very well.
I'm doing great. It's good to hear from you, Mayor, because we live on the freeway because me and my mom live on 7722 South 72nd Dale, Levine, Arizona, because we were just wondering we're going to have more stores and we're partnering with Tempe and all that stuff because that is great because I was waiting for a movie theater to come out because you guys wanted to, because it's been delayed because of pandemic and all that stuff. And I'm waiting for it. My mom is waiting for it too, because we've been waiting for it as well, because I'm a movie goer and I'm a fan of everything and including you, Mayor Kate Gallego. And also I'll give a shout out to Yasmin Asari, Carlos Garcia, Betty Wangado, Laura Pastor, Deborah Stark, which I wanted to meet her, Ann O'Brien, Jim Waring, and Sal DeCiccio too, which I'm still not a fan of Sal DeCiccio, but I respect to you, Mayor, because I always love calling you and all that stuff because it's kind of fun to talk to you guys. It's because I am such a casual politician fan and we're waiting for the stores and buildings to come out in the freeway because I've been waiting for it for over a decade. It's because I always like you guys because hopefully you get it right and hopefully you get back to business when everything's when it's open and all that stuff, so it could be remodeled again and all that stuff. And I always like seeing you guys from last week because I wanted to see you guys again. It's because I just wanted to be sure to be heard that the community, all that stuff, what I heard, so I can be patiently wait. And I'm waiting for that community center to be open this fall. Hopefully you get a date. Have a great day. Avengers Assemble.
Hi, Mark.
Mark, if you can't see us, a lot of the council just waved to you. And we recently did a development agreement. We hope we'll help get that movie theater to you even sooner. Any council member comments on the installation of fiber on Baseline?
Mayor?
Councilwoman Stark.
I just want to say I can't wait to meet Mark.
I think you guys will hit it off. Absolutely. Thank you, Councilwoman Stark. Roll call.
Ansari?
Yes.
DeCiccio?
Yes.
Guardado?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Pastor? Stark?
Yes.
Waring?
Yes.
Garcia?
Yes.
Gallego? Passes 9-0.
Thank you. That concludes the non-planning and zoning portion of our council agenda item. We will move to item 119 next, which has to do with the southwest corner of I-17 and Pinnacle Peak Road. We'll begin with a brief staff report and I'll welcome our Planning and Development Director, Alan Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Item 119 and 120 are companion cases. As you noted, they're a general plan amendment and zoning case for the southeast corner of Pinnacle Peak Drive and I-17. The approximately 44-acre site for the general plan amendment and a slightly smaller site for the zoning case we'll talk about in a minute. Currently, the general plan is Commerce Park is going to a proposed mixed use of residential and commercial uses. Here's the southern portion is just the rezoning area in red shown here, which is why it's only 20 acres versus the 44 of the general plan area. Here's a blow up of that area. It is within the Deer Valley Airport overlay area. The proposed site plan is a residential request for this project. Here you can see the buildings and the open space areas. Here's the proposed apartment project elevations and what they look like. Staff does recommend approval pursuant to stipulations. The Deer Valley Village Planning Committee recommended approval 8-0. Planning Commission recommended approval of both items by a vote of 9-0. The zoning case was similar votes. Staff does recommend approval per the Planning Commission, adoption of the related resolution, as well as approval of the zoning case per the Planning Commission recommendation and adoption of the related ordinance. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Any questions from the council? All right, with that, I will open the public hearing. We do have the applicant here to speak if necessary. Do any council members have any questions or wish to hear a presentation from the applicant? All right, hearing none, we will close the public hearing. I will turn to District 1 Councilwoman Anna O'Brien for a motion.
I move to approve item 119.
I'll second it with the related ordinance.
Mayor, Councilman O'Brien, I believe it would be in this 119 would be related resolution because it's a general plan amendment.
Resolution, I'm sorry.
All right, we have a motion to approve for the Planning Commission's approval and adopt the related resolution. Any comments? Roll call.
Ansari. DeCiccio. Guardado. O'Brien.
Yes.
Pastor. Stark.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 8-0.
We next move to item 120, a companion item. Councilwoman O'Brien, do you have a motion on 120?
I move to approve for the Planning Commission's approval and adopt the related ordinance.
Second.
Motion and second. Any comments? Roll call.
Ansari.
Yes.
DeCiccio. Guardado. O'Brien.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
Gallego. Passes 8-0.
We next move to companion items 121 and 122, which are related to the southeast corner of Carolyn Boulevard and Greenway Parkway. We'll begin with the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. The aerial shown on the screen has a purple area outline for the subject site. It is a companion general plan and zoning case, as you mentioned, for the southwest corner of Greenway Parkway and Carolyn Boulevard. Existing general plan is Commerce Park and is proposed to go to a mix of commercial Commerce Park and multifamily residential. You can see that it is part of the larger Carolyn PCD zoning district. These are the proposed site plan and elevations for this multifamily residential project with a maximum height of 68 feet. The staff does recommend approval pursuant to the staff stipulations. The Paradise Valley Village Planning Committee recommended approval of the general plan amendment 13-0 and the zoning, planning commission recommended approval 9-0. The related zoning case was also 13-0 and 9-0 approval by the planning commission. With that, staff does recommend approval of the planning commission, adoption of the related resolution, and approval of the planning commission and adoption of the related ordinance. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? I will open the public hearing on 121 and 122. We do not have any members of the public to address the council. I will close the public hearing. This item is in Council District 2. I will turn to Councilman Waring.
I move to approve and adopt the related ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Mayor, Councilman Waring.
Resolution first.
Yes, item 121 is
Alan?
a general plan, so it's a resolution.
Resolution, yeah.
I just was checking to see what Alan was going to say. I screwed up. So, motion to approve and adopt the related resolution.
Second.
You said. How'd I do, Alan?
Correct. Thanks, Councilman.
Oh, yes. Fantastic.
Excellent work. Any comments? Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio, Guardado, O'Brien,
Yes.
Pastor,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Waring, Garcia,
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 8-0.
Thank you. We next move to the companion item, item 122. Councilman Waring.
I move to approve and adopt the related. Alan, what word am I looking for?
Ordinance in this case, Councilman.
Ordinance in this case. I knew it. Ordinance. Thank you.
I'll second. Oh.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio, Guardado, O'Brien,
Yes.
Pastor, Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Gallego. Passes 8-0.
Thank you. We next move to the northeast corner of 16th Street and Chipman Road in District 8. We'll begin with the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Item 123 and 124 are companion cases as well. In this case, they're both rezoning requests. And so fast forward, you can see the subject site outlined here in red. In this case, one is a rezoning request and the other is a density waiver, which are both treated as rezoning requests before the council. You see the subject area outlined in red here along 16th Street. There's a blow-up of the area showing the existing zoning. It is within the South Phoenix Village Target Area B Design Overlay District, but you can see the surrounding zoning is a mix of multifamily, R5 residential, some industrial, commercial, and single-family to the east of it. This is the applicant's proposed site plan showing the layout of the single-family homes. Here are the elevations. It's a single-family attached product or a townhouse product that they would ultimately build. That's yet to be determined, but from the zoning perspective, both are permitted as part of this action if council approves it. Staff does recommend approval of both the requests subject to stipulations. The South Mountain Village Planning Committee recommended a continuance on their March agenda. They had a very controversial case that went long, so they did not hear this item, but the applicant did wish to go forward to the Planning Commission, and so the Planning Commission voted approval 8-0. The request did come before the council, and the applicant requested a continuance to have additional discussions related to the improvements for Chipman Drive or Chipman Road as shown on the aerial exhibit here. And so Chipman, pursuant to the prior stipulations, was a required public road to be dedicated and improved by the applicant. What the revised stipulations allow pursuant to the memo is the applicant to explore working on a private drive that would provide access to their property, and they would have to put a cul-de-sac and do improvements at the end of Chipman Road to ensure that there could be a safe turnaround there, and also ensure access for the other properties back in behind Chapman via other means. So it allows either of them to develop that way in the future. Staff has been working with Street Transportation Department on that request, as well as the applicant. There's no known opposition to that, and staff has worked out the issues. We're comfortable with either scenario coming forward and working with the applicant to make that happen. So with that, staff does recommend approval per the memo from myself dated earlier today for both items 123 and 124. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for our staff? This is in Council District 8. Vice Mayor, do you wish to comment before we?
No.
Okay.
Just do a motion.
There is, I guess, let me open the public hearing. The applicant is online and I think was initially planning to present Ran Edelman, but it seems like we have worked things out. Ran, let's unmute Ran.
Hi,
Ran, if you are comfortable with the staff proposal, we could move forward.
Yes, I'm comfortable.
Wonderful, thank you. Then I will close the public hearing and turn to Vice Mayor Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. Motion to approve per the Planning Commission's approval and adopt the related ordinance. Is that the
Mayor?
right one, Alan, or?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, in this instance, it would be approve it per the Planning and Development Director memo dated June 1st, 2021, and adopt the related ordinance because of that new steps that we have.
Okay, so motion to approve per the memo from the Planning and Development Director dated June 1st, 2021, which modifies stipulations related to street access to the site.
Second.
June 1st is the date, and adopt the related ordinance.
And adopt the related ordinance.
Thank you. Our planning director is making us work today. We have an excellent motion from the Vice Mayor. Any comments? Roll call.
Ansari.
Yes.
DeCiccio. Guardado.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Pastor. Stark.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 8-0.
We move to the companion item, item 124. Perhaps our planning director could suggest a motion.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor. In this case, the motion would be to approve it per the Planning and Development Director memo dated June 1st, 2021, and adopt the related ordinance.
Motion to approve what Alan just said. Does that work?
I'll second it. That was a good motion.
That was an excellent motion. What teamwork. Roll call.
Ansari.
Yes.
DeCiccio. Guardado.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 8-0.
Item 125 and 126 have been withdrawn, so we move to our final agendized item for today, 127. We'll begin with the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Item 127 is a rezoning request that you actually heard about 6 weeks or so ago. At that time, it was a request for a walkable urban code, and Councilwoman Pastor remanded the case back to the Planning Commission, and that it be filed as a planned unit development zoning case along with some other requirements, and then proceed from the Planning Commission back to council. So it is the southeast corner of 3rd Avenue and Coolidge. The existing zoning is R5 and R3, which are both multifamily residential zoning districts. The R5 permits a height of 48 feet by right, and a maximum of about 43.5 dwelling units per acre on all the portions that are zoned R5 today. The applicant, in terms of things that they went back and addressed pursuant to the direction of Councilwoman Pastor, was some of the privacy concerns from the neighbors, building height, additional landscape and building setbacks along Coolidge and 3rd Street, additional open space provisions as well. And so you can see this exhibit shows where the mezzanine levels were brought down from the building, and Juliet balconies were put in along 3rd Street, 3rd Avenue is where this rendering is shown from. You can see this is showing the additional open space area along the canal bank, where they are improving portions of their property as well as the SRP canal to take advantage of the Grand Canal improvements. This is, as the council knows, a multi-million-dollar improvement project that has been implemented in this stretch of the Grand Canal, with further plans to expand it to the west within Council District 5 in the future here. In terms of existing enhancements, so there were additional setbacks relative to the curb line along Coolidge and 3rd Street, so that it matches the apartment building just to the east on Coolidge at a minimum. The staff does recommend approval subject to the additional stipulations. The Planning Commission most recently on May 6th voted approval by a vote of 6-3. This exhibit shows some of the Planning Commission requested information as it relates to putting in additional open space, that they were helping to implement what Councilwoman Pastor had directed in terms of providing some additional open space adjacent to Coolidge and 3rd, as well as the area down here in red shows a area that they are going to abandon pursuant to requirements in the new addendum here that will have them abandon portions of 3rd Avenue up adjacent to the canal and improve that with additional park grassy area, as well as the color differentiation show those areas that are resident-only open space, as well as those that are publicly accessible also. This is the landscape plan showing those improvements that would ultimately be done to implement the stipulations, showing those improvements of 3rd Avenue, and in this case, the building height also gets restricted to 48 feet pursuant to the addendum memo that came out earlier today at the request of Councilwoman Pastor to limit that residential height to 48 feet. The only portions of it that can go up to 56 feet are that parking garage that is clustered inside the residential development, and they are providing some additional parking spaces as part of that additional height that are open to the public. With that, staff does recommend approval per the Planning Development Director memo dated June 2nd, 2021, and adopt the related ordinance. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Alan. Do you have any questions for council? All right, we will go ahead and open the public hearing on item 127. We will begin with two presentations, beginning with Jason Morris on behalf of the applicant, 10 minutes, and then we will turn to the appellant, and then we will open it up for public comments from all who are registered. Jason, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mayor, council members. I appreciate the opportunity to be back in front of you this afternoon with a case that has changed significantly since its origins. I recognize that I only have 10 minutes, and I understand that despite the changes in the direction and the leadership on this case provided by Councilwoman Pastor, there are still some neighbors that we have not been able to appease. And while that's disappointing, I want to assure the council that we have addressed more issues in this single case than I have addressed in the literal dozens of other cases that we have handled of similar multifamily type of requests. This case is an exceptional example of the right type of housing at the right location within the right portion of the city. And I have an extensive presentation that talks about and addresses each of the issues that were raised. But I'm actually going to spend most of my time speaking from this exhibit just up front so that I can explain to Mayor and Council exactly what we have done just in these last 6 weeks. If you'll recall, this case was brought forward as a walkable urban code case, and there was resistance to the walkable urban code and some of the ramifications. So we agreed again with the councilwoman's direction and assistance. This motion was passed to convert it to a PUD and to return to the Planning Commission in order to revise the open space, to take a look at what the parking calculations would be for our new density, because we also lost units as a result of this. We agreed to eliminate units, which brought our parking ratio to a much more favorable 1.4 spaces per unit. And in terms of our overall setbacks and open space, both of those things were addressed so that we match the other buildings in the area that have been constructed already, because as you're likely aware, we are adjacent on 3 sides to other multifamily developments, and on the 4th side to single family in the Pearson Place development. So we addressed open space, that was increased dramatically. Most importantly, the open space that's available to the public was increased dramatically because we were able to work with the city of Phoenix and comprise a plan that allows us to take vacant, essentially dirt, and landscape it, make it part of this project, make it a portal to the pedestrian bridge for 3rd Avenue, and introduce people to the canalscape that you're taking a look at right now. So with that, I'm going to briefly go through some more slides. If you could go to the next slide. As I mentioned, Mayor and Council, this site, as you can see, is proximate to light rail on Central. It's proximate to other large-scale buildings and density. We are adjacent on 3 sides to multifamily, and on the west to the Pearson Place community on the other side of 3rd Avenue. Next slide. I've discussed this in the past, but you're aware of what we're adjacent to and the fact that this is an R5 zoned piece. It has been for decades, and the general plan shows it at the highest density permissible in the general plan. Next slide. The current office building, the proposal is for multifamily. This was our original proposal with 218 units at 56 feet on all 4 sides, with obviously smaller setbacks than what is being proposed at this time. Next slide. As you're aware, it was approved at Village Planning Committee, at the Planning Commission now twice, and this is our 2nd time in front of the City Council. So a total of 5 public hearings and an equal or greater amount of neighborhood meetings and interactions throughout this process. Next slide. We discussed, and staff already referenced, the changes to the building, bringing down the height and also removing balconies to ensure privacy. Next slide. The setbacks, in fact, a survey crew was taken out to measure the other buildings along Coolidge, because one of the requests from the neighborhood is that we not be closer than the average setback of the other buildings along Coolidge. We measured and are adhering to that request with this PUD. Next slide. The Planning Commission recommendation, again, at the direction of Councilwoman Pastor, was to increase the overall open space and to make sure that open space was accessible, but also to preserve existing landscaping wherever possible and replace it where necessary with mature trees. Next slide. The enhanced canalscape, I cannot speak enough about this. This is a premier example of that canalscape. Because of the lack of time, I won't ask that we go back to our original aerial, but I can assure you there is no other project along the Grand Canal that is paying this much attention to the canalscape and actually enforcing and developing what the city of Phoenix has proposed for now over a decade in terms of canal improvements, but has been virtually undone and has not been required of other developments along the canal historically. Next slide. Just some exhibits to share with you so that you can understand that the open space, as I said, our public open space exceeds the private open space, which is very unusual in a new project, that we are creating literally a new pocket park and a new linear park along the canal. And we are detaching the sidewalks on all the sides of the building that are adjacent to right-of-way. Next slide. Again, the open space exhibit, this verifies the number. Our public open space is almost 25,000 square feet, which is actually larger than the amount of open space that's adjacent to the current parking lot on the office that has been talked about by the neighbors from the origins of this case. Next slide. Our Coolidge frontage, which is our only garage entrance. Next slide. Again, the lower profile on 3rd Avenue and the entrance to the pedestrian bridge. Next slide. The canalscape, this is one of the views of the canalscape. You can see that there are significant improvements occurring here, but most importantly, those improvements are available to the public, not just the private residents of this building. Next slide. Another view of that canalscape and the utility corridor. Again, no other project has done this, and this is a significant upgrade to the neighborhood. Next slide. Looking west along that same corridor, you see that it's the entirety of our perimeter on the canal side, not just a portion that is being improved, and also improving the SRP portion. Next slide. Just to give a summary, Mayor, and I will wrap it up, we have reduced the density, we have reduced the height, we have increased the setback, we have enhanced the canalscape and improved and expanded the overall landscape area and made sure it's excessive in terms of public versus private. We have made sure that the parking ratios on this exceed what is required. And in fact, we are parked at 1 per bedroom, which is an excessive amount of parking, meaning even at full occupancy, we would have over 10%, I believe it's 12% excess parking in our garage. We've agreed to work with the neighborhood for permit parking to ensure our cars, our residents, don't impact their neighborhood. And we have designed the garage to ensure that there's access most proximate to Central Avenue. We're happy with the work that we've done. The work that we have done has created a better project overall. I would like to compliment Councilwoman Pastor's office for leading this effort and essentially forcing both sides to the table. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. We will next turn to Ron on behalf of the appellant.
Hello, City Council members and Mayor Gallego. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. I'm the appellant, Ron Shematovich. And, well, we have a slightly different perspective of this. We had hoped that the PUD could work for everybody involved. The developer is the big winner here. They're getting close to all the WU perks. The city is also winning with its focus on the Grand Canal, but then there's us. We are the neighborhood that we're hoping to find a middle ground, but we do not feel that our needs were met. With the exception of Juliet balconies, we got little that it would alleviate our 4 primary concerns, which I will get into. But before I go forward, I want to comment that we are now over 170 homeowners and many, many residents of Pearson Place, Carnation, and Yapple Park. And recently, we've had residents of Grandview also reach out to us. We really appreciate them. Trinsic's form letters of support have been mostly from businesses. Form letters from businesses should come as no surprise. It does not consider the quality of life for residents or the appropriateness of the density away from arterial roads. We're not even sure if they're business owners because the letters are pretty vague. We defeated the precedent of the WU on this block, but we want to keep the precedent that the resident and homeowner voices matter. That's very important. The residents of Phoenix should outweigh that of out-of-state developers, especially ones that have a history of selling their properties within 5 years. Let's go to the first slide, please. Next slide. Yeah, thank you. Our 4 priorities have been consistent from the beginning. We are concerned about setbacks, heights, traffic, which is directly related to density, and parking. The rest is cannon fodder. The rest of it has nothing to do with what we've been fighting for, although we do appreciate the Juliet balconies, and we do wish we could save those trees. But once they're dug out of the ground, put in boxes, and planted back on these smaller setbacks, they're not going to survive. And we're not happy that they removed 11 parking spots after the last city council meeting. They're saying that they are, more than ample parking, but the R5 for what they have would be 305 spots. Next slide, please. With this PUD, we are still looking at overall WU zoning. Trinsic gets setbacks closer to the street than the R5. They're gaining 8 feet in building height, unless that changed today, which it seems like it might have. 45 units are gained with no approving traffic study, and 13 parking spots are shy of the R5 parking. There are no aspects of this PUD that conforms to the R5 zoning requirements. The R5 will frankly protect this neighborhood better. Next slide, please. All right. So with the last city council meeting, we really feel that we achieved additional setbacks. They were critical to us. They were critical to the privacy of neighbors. All around it, the safety of the Sonoran bike path and the traditional feel of a historic neighborhood interior. This would have made us more agreeable to the PUD. We were told we were getting 20-foot setbacks, which we thought provided 10 extra feet of space between the building and the neighborhood, which is the minimum requirement of the R5. We are residents. We are not polished zoning lawyers. It was not until the day of the Planning Commission that we caught the fact that, quote, back of curb or, quote, face of curb changed the measuring point of these setbacks. Now, the image on the left is the WU-T55 site plan, and the one on the right is the PUD. The only way you can discern the difference between those two site plans is looking at the canalscape. There's been some talk that I have agreed to these setbacks, and I agreed to 20-foot setbacks. I didn't, and I agreed with the committee. I'm not acting alone. I've been working with people this whole time. We all thought we were getting 10 additional feet from the neighborhood on Coolidge and 3rd Avenue. I want to make it clear on public record that I did not understand back of curb changed the measuring point. It was a very subtle language that as somebody that is not used to working in zoning, I missed it. And that needs to change for us to get behind the PUD. We want the proper 20-foot setback from the property line. I'm looking at the definition of setback right here on the City of Phoenix site, and it says the required minimum distance between the building line and the related front, side, or rear lot line, and over which no part of any building may extend. That is what we wanted. We did not realize that there's a second type of setback or that you could move it around. So just understand that while we were excited about the setbacks, we did not realize that it changed with the back of curb. Dulce from Ms. Pastor's office told us on Monday that it was her intention to help us move the building 10 additional feet away. We really want you to do that, Ms. Pastor, please. If you insist on putting a PUD in, instead of giving us the R5, we ask that this is rectified, as we should not have to suffer for a wording mistake. It is in your power. And that is something that we feel very strongly that the neighborhood needs. Next slide, please. We were told, we were consistent. We wanted the setbacks to match what was already going on in the neighborhood. Now, the building of that icon right there is 32 feet from Google Maps, from the curb. The one beneath it is the current organ donor network. It is 34 feet to the actual building from the curb. That is what we were going for. It's disappointing to say the least. Next slide, please. I can't reiterate enough that this is not on an arterial road. This is deep within a historic neighborhood, well, on the edge, adjacent to, if you will. We got Kim's house on the left there, next to Karen's house, Adam's on the corner on the right there, and beneath it is Monica and Teresa. Next slide, please. This is a better view, an aerial view of all the houses being affected by this and why we want those setbacks so bad. It would really help us a lot with privacy, with sight around the corner, or with the Sonoran bike path visibility. That is a big deal for us. Next slide, please. But the other reason these setbacks are critical for us is that this is a floodplain. My neighbor Karen took this during a monsoon, I think 2 years ago, and you can see that that sidewalk is completely submerged underwater. There's been no talk about where this water is going to go once this building is built. Next slide, please. The traffic study, which still hasn't been passed by the Street Transportation Department. We're looking at almost 1,200 cars, which will be generated from this site alone per day. The traffic study was not submitted to the Street Transportation Department until the day after the last city council meeting on April 8th. It was sent back unapproved with comments. One of those comments mentioned that they had not studied the intersection at 3rd Avenue and Camelback, which is one of the main ways in and out of this neighborhood and is one of 2 lights in and out of this neighborhood. Next slide, please. I can't say this enough. This development is not on Arterial Road. If this was on Central or Camelback, you would not be hearing from me. This is within our neighborhood. We are cut off right there at the canal. That is a nice pedestrian footbridge that helps keep our area safe. We've got the light rail to the north and the east, and parts of the day we contend with suicide lanes to the west. We are really nooked in here, and adding another, how many cars? It's creating a very dangerous situation. Next slide, please. The parking garage with its single entrance and exit is located towards Central to encourage vehicles to go towards Central. With the light rail there, Central is right turn only, so unless someone is heading south, they are likely to cut through the neighborhood. The number of units is directly related to the number of cars. We've already seen a substantial increase with elevation, and that is directly on Central. It is much easier to get around the valley using Camelback and 7th Avenue. Increased vehicles does not keep the pedestrian nature of the area safer. Next slide, please. One of the measurements of appropriateness for density is called dwelling unit density. It divides the gross acreage by the number of units. Trinsic would have to come down to 173 units to hit the maximum R5 density with all its bonuses. It would actually have to go lower than that to hit a regular R5. This is not appropriate to be 37 units above that density for this particular parcel. Next slide, please. You know, parking. We know that we're hopefully going to get no parking on 3rd Avenue, and we're shooting to get residential parking on our streets around this, but that is not part of the PUD, and it is not done yet. One of the ways to deal with parking is to deal with the parking in the PUD. The apartments along the central corridor have a tendency to clutter our roads with parked vehicles, reducing visibility and safety. That's elevation right at the top of our street there, and notice those trees trying to grow on those setbacks. And the other one is the station just north of Indian School and Central. Interestingly enough, the station has 1 parking spot for each of its 414 units. Plus, it's got 40 spots tenants can pay extra for. Plus, it's got an entire floor of parking open to all guests, partners, roommates, etc. Even with all that parking, they still have parking around it day and night. Next slide, please. While we all want the canalscape to be a nicer place, the sales pitch is not a reality as far as we know. You know, the SRP maintains its federal property. No one can plant along the SRP easements, especially near the canal banks. Not the city, not the developer, not the residents along the canal. It's federal property. Please
Thank you. We will now go to public comments. Each individual has 2 minutes to address the council, and our staff will call the names.
Our first speaker is Tom Bilston. Tom, are you on the line? Tom is not on the line. Our next speaker is Audrey Coble. Audrey, are you on the line?
Yes, good evening.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Audrey Coble. I am an operations manager for a local business that staffs approximately 400 employees. Our business relies on the local talent pool, which is made up of residents who choose to reside in the area. We are finding that every year, fewer employees choose to own a car, but rather rely on light rail and other public transit to navigate both their work and personal lives. The demand for such housing is currently not being met. Having a large inventory of rental housing located in desirable areas near transit lines allows our business to properly staff itself and thrive as a tax-paying entity of the community. We believe that more people who live, work, earn, and spend locally, the more businesses like ours can thrive in its central Phoenix location. Please consider this in voting in approval of this project and a thriving local economy. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Sydney Davey. Sydney, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. I grew up in Central Phoenix and went to Camelback High School. My husband and I have bought and fixed up a house in hometown where we raise our 4 little kids. I just wanted to express my support for this project and for the thoughtful development in Phoenix. I run along the canal regularly and am excited about the major improvement that this project would make to the canal. I hope that this would spur similar projects in the area to continue to beautify the canal and make it an asset in our community. Thank you, and please support this project.
Our next speaker is Shane Essert. Shane, are you on the line?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Please proceed.
Hi, my name is Shane Essert. I'm speaking on behalf of a family-owned business, Model Citizen, off Central Avenue, which has been in business for roughly 15 years. I would like to start off by saying we're very excited about this project. This developer has gone above and beyond with the concessions that they have made to appease the surrounding residents in the city. The potential for a beautiful, well-thought apartment project that activates the canal and ultimately will provide much-needed housing for the growth of the city. And those benefits outweigh the current vacant use, which is doing nothing for the city and the surrounding businesses and residents. After coronavirus, it should be no surprise that small business needs help, and this will help drive support for all local business. Additionally, I am a local resident, have lived in a close proximity for my entire life, went to Brophy, and I just want to say I'm in support. So please join me as a resident and as a business owner who support the city and who employ a number of local residents in supporting this project. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Samantha Figueroa. Samantha, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Hello, Mayor and Council. My name is Samantha Figueroa. I work and hope to soon live in Central Phoenix. It has been a challenge to find safe and nice professional places to live. The idea of having a community that showcases the canal area sounds unique and inviting. I want to live and work in a community where I can take advantage of the neighboring business offerings and use the light rail system. We can't fix the traffic in the valley, but taking cars off the road and offering metro housing is a great start. Thank you and have a nice rest of your day.
Our next speaker is John Gardner. John, are you on the line?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Please proceed.
Okay. Hi. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I live nearby, and I just wanted to call in and publicly comment that I really like it when new developments are by the canal. I think it gives it a lot of life, and you know, when canals are just there and it kind of doesn't have an inviting vibe. And you know, I think Phoenix should incorporate a lot of developments near the canal, such as, in Scottsdale's waterfront area. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Mary Howell. Mary, are you on the line? Mary is not on the line. Our next speaker is Ethan Jowers. Ethan, are you on the line?
Yes.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Hi, good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. My name is Ethan Jowers. I live at 411 East Indian School. I'm a longtime Phoenician resident and a biking enthusiast. I enjoy getting out in my community and cycling with my friends and family down the canal path. I find this to be one of the most beautiful spots in the Phoenix area. The idea of improving facilities for cyclists like myself is an idea that I find exciting and makes me proud to live in this great city. Making improvements like this helps keep our uptown area great and allows us to use and enjoy this area even more. Please consider this in allowing the project to go forward. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Charles Jones. Charles, are you on the line?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Please proceed.
Good afternoon, Mayor Gallego, Councilwoman Pastor, members of the council. My name is Charlie Jones. My address is 198 West Mariposa. I want to start out by saying that I supported this project at the Alhambra Village Planning Committee level, and that I do not have a conflict of interest on this case. That has been alleged 3 times in these venues, twice at Planning Commission and once in your meeting last week. I think now is time to set the record straight. So for today's purposes, I want you to know I do not have a conflict of interest, and I can prove it. I have met with staff about it, and I'd be happy to meet with any of you about it. I think this project is good for the neighborhood. I've been involved in this neighborhood for over 20 years. I think the front doors on this project help it blend into the neighborhood where it is adjacent to single family. I think the front doors help with crime prevention. Crime prevention is very big in this neighborhood. We have a lot of active people that work on crime prevention. And I think those front doors make the building fit in very well with the adjacent housing in the neighborhood. And I feel pretty similar about the previous parapets that were on the roof, trying to make that roof line a little bit less than just a square box. And I can appreciate what they have done with changing that roof line, but at least still keeping it interesting. Lastly, I'd like to comment on the sidewalk along 3rd Avenue from Coolidge to Canalscape, because there's heavy pedestrian traffic in that area most days going to and from Canalscape. And the thought occurred to me that maybe a wider sidewalk in that area might help with pedestrian traffic, might help a little more with crime prevention, might help make the entrance to Canalscape stand out. So with that, I would urge you to approve this project, and thank you.
Our next speaker is Tom Bilston. Tom, are you on the line?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Please proceed.
Hey, wonderful. Thank you so much. My name is Tom Bilstein, 3021 South Bighorn Drive. Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Gallego, Councilwoman Pastor, honorable council members. I want to begin by thanking you for your service on this council and to this community. As many of you know, my mom served on this council for 14 years, and I understand all the sacrifices that you guys make on a regular basis to serve this community, and we all very much are appreciative of it. Again, my name is Tom, and I own a business that specializes in community outreach. And the goal of our business is to work with the best developers and to assist them in getting their plans and designs out into the community. Our main goal for this project was to reach out to the surrounding businesses and ask them their opinions on this specific project. And we all know that as a business owner, it can be extremely difficult to stop what you're doing in the middle of a Wednesday. And so we wanted to let you know some of their direct thoughts on this. After meeting with over 35 business owners or their representatives over the past few months, we've heard some of the same messages over and over again. Here's some of the direct quotes that we had. So we did everything possible to survive COVID-19 over the past 15 months, and we're just now starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. We also heard that anything that that can be done to affect the businesses in this area, including bringing new people into the doors, is something that they're all looking for. We heard from many people they did everything possible to stay afloat, including their savings, their personal money, and whatever they had to do just to survive. We also heard from many people who appreciated what Councilwoman Pastor has done in the area to be a champion for the business community. We have signed letters of support from businesses big and small, some that you're very familiar with and some that you might be hearing of for the first time. These include Fame Cafe, Joe's Diner, George and Dragon, Copper Star Coffee, Huss Brewing, Local Nomad, Modern Manor, Muse, Valentine, Hinkley's Lighting, Clever Koi, Michael Todd's Treasures, Belly Kitchen and Bar, PHX Souls, Scooptopia, True Few Hair Salon, Model Citizen, Twigs and Twine, Brothers Taylors, My Tea and Sweets, Undefeated Inc., Ghost Vintage, Lou Malnati's, Zooks, Rotten Grapes, Music Brokers, Uptown Cleaners, Don's Fine Cigars, Central Shoe Repair, Deli Cheese and Stuff, Fairmont Pharmacy, Central Music Direct, For the People, Leslie's Threads, and Arizona Threads. Thank you so much for your time and your continued leadership. We appreciate you.
Our next speaker is Victoria Lindley. Victoria, are you on the line? Victoria is not on the line. Our next speaker is Jake Matthey. Jake, are you on the line? Jake is not on the line. Our next speaker is Joseph Serial. Joseph, are you on the line?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mayor and council members, for your time, effort, and allowing me to speak. I'm a local business owner. You might have been into my place, Joe's Diner. I'm just down the street from this project. Obviously, the previous year has been quite the challenge. I want to thank the Phoenix Council for the support of small businesses during the pandemic. This project is another great project to beautify our neighborhood, especially the canal. The more lighting we get on the canal, the less challenges we have with the homeless and the vagrants that will use it as a highway. Anything that'll help with the economic growth as we emerge from the pandemic is appreciated. I've experienced previous projects such as the canal murals and seen the impact, which is positive on my restaurant and the area. I look forward to the continued beautification of the canal and the help of the City Council. And I look forward to serving breakfast to the new residents that will be moving in. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Benjamin Tate. Benjamin, are you on the line? Benjamin is not on the line. Our next speaker is Patricia Anderson. Patricia, are you on the line? Patricia is not on the line. Our next speaker is Vincent Bachelot. Vincent, are you on the line? Vincent is not on the line. Our next speaker is Tanya Bachelot. Tanya, are you on the line? Our next speaker is Bruce Becker. Bruce is not on the line. Our next speaker is Robert Donat. Robert, are you on the line?
Yes, good evening, Mayor, City Council, and Councilwoman Pastor. I live on Coolidge, just down from the subject property, and it's clear the city and Pearson Place is changing, and there doesn't appear to be the right answer to the dilemma this development brings to the residents. As I stated in a previous City Council meeting, I support development, but the setbacks here don't appear to be changed from the Wu T55 original plan. So maybe the wording is different, making it sound like an additional 10 feet of setback from the original, but it clearly wasn't added to the revised plan. So please consider adding additional setback to match the neighborhood and the surrounding homes. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Adam Gies. Adam, are you on the line?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Mayor, City Council members, today I'd like to talk to you about integrity. I'll not go into the background of why this planned development isn't appropriate for the Pearson Place neighborhood. Instead, I will focus on integrity. The PUD was supposed to bridge the gap between the neighborhood's concerns and the requests of the developer. At the City Council meeting on April 7th, it appeared that this had happened as the setbacks were increased an additional 10 feet. However, one key phrase, back of curb, changed all of it. The increase in setbacks from 10 to 20 feet in reality became a change of 0 to a maximum of 3. The incorrect terms were used when drafting the motion, and as a result, the largest gain for the neighborhood evaporated, and the intention of the PUD did not match the reality of it. To say that these current setbacks align the building with other buildings on Coolidge is also false, as in its current form, it will still be the closest building on the street in the entire block. or that some of the neighbors requested the building have less of a setback simply does not make logical sense. The only party that decreased setback benefits is the developer. I ask that you do not pass this PUD in its current form and either correct this oversight and give the neighborhood the 20-foot setbacks that were promised and desperately needed, or simply vote against the PUD and allow the property to be developed under the existing zoning that ensures the neighborhood is protected. Nearly 200 of my fellow neighbors are watching this vote, and I implore you to do the right thing. The fact that this project has so much opposition and even has ongoing ethics investigation must give you pause over its merits. I hope and trust that you all have the integrity to not redefine a neighborhood over a mistaken phraseology. Also, I'd like to point out that a vote of no on this project is not a vote against businesses. It's simply building this project with the current zoning. It still brings new residents that will be proud to support the businesses in the area. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Chris Gonzalez. Chris, are you on the line? Chris is not on the line. Our next speaker is Barbara Gorey. Barbara, are you on the line? Barbara, are you on the line? We do not have audio for Barbara. Our next speaker is Kim Grennan. Kim, are you on the line?
Hi, yes, I am.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Ms. Pastor, as a business owner of a marketing agency in the area that employs over a dozen locals and a property owner directly adjacent to the new building at 301 West Hazelwood is where I live, I'm begging you for this community to help us achieve a common ground so we can continue to love where we live in a walkable neighborhood where we aren't having everything that's overrun, increased vehicles, and completely changing the character of our community. I support investment in the greater Phoenix area and the development and businesses, but our neighborhood is just asking for minor concessions in order for all of us to be on board with this. Some of those things include, which have been reiterated a couple of times, but increased 20-foot property line setbacks as an absolute must for our neighborhood, along with the height of the building. We support a beautiful canal and living space, but the height and lack of setbacks negates this goal. Together, I hope we can come to an agreement to help everyone win. And again, in summary, we ask for permitted street parking so we can ensure our friends and family and neighbors can park in our own streets, decrease building height and minimum of 20-foot setbacks so tenants of the new build are not looking directly into our neighborhood backyards, and we can all live in peace. So thank you for your support.
Our next speaker is Matthew Hansen. Matthew, are you on the line?
I am, yes.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you. I oppose this project as the most recent PUD was supposed to provide a 20-foot setback. However, due to a misunderstanding in wording, this caused no change in setbacks, a fact Councilwoman Pastor's office has confirmed. I ask that you refer this back to the Planning Commission for revision to the PUD to restore these 20-foot setbacks as originally agreed. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Teresa Hayes. Teresa, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Yes, my name is Teresa Hayes. I live at 204 West Coolidge, directly north of this project. I've lived and was raised in this neighborhood as a child. And my main issue is, of course, the setbacks for this. Living directly across the street, it's going to be like they're right, in my front yard. I'm concerned about the parking and the traffic that will definitely increase. I'm concerned about being able, on our side of the street, the north side, to get our garbage and our recycling picked up. I do not approve, basically. I'm in opposition of this. I hope we do. I hope that this will all work out right. And I please urge you to do the right thing for our neighborhood. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Monica Kay. Monica, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Monica Medina. I live in north of the project. And I heard all the comments about the business around, and we want to support a business, but also we have had to concern, about myself and the neighbors. And the point is, we just wanted, the right for us to. So, and this is a history place. So for me, they took in like too much papers and everything, just put a fence in the front of my yard. And this is building is like huge, that is. And as a residents, we want to follow laws and rules. So we want to be fair too. So receive the same thing from the people like what's the project. So, and I just say the quantity doesn't mean to be quality. We want something, quality too. So it can be fair for them and for us too. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Yorgos Makris. Yorgos, are you on the line?
I am.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mayor and Council members, for allowing me to speak. I just would like to say I oppose this project in its current form. I do support development in the neighborhood. I support beautifying the canal, but the two major concerns that I have are the setback of 20 feet. It should be from the property line, not back of curb, which is just changing the terminology a little bit to increase the setback or decrease the amount of setback the property would need. And I would like also either a decrease in the units or increase in the parking available to those units so that it doesn't go across the street, all the parking. And that's all.
Our next speaker is Christopher Marks. Christopher, are you on the line? Christopher is not on the line. Our next speaker is Karen McCasland. Karen, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Well, along with everybody else that opposes this, I am concerned about the traffic. The parking is going to be horrendous. It already is, trying to get from Central onto Coolidge. Sometimes you can't hardly drive past all the cars that are parked on both sides. We definitely need permitted parking if this is going to go through. People are, even though you say you have enough parking, there is never enough. The setbacks are an issue. And just the fact that it's going to totally change a historic neighborhood. Other than that, I agree with all the people that are opposing so many of the issues. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Nancy McMillan. Nancy, are you on the line?
I am. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council members, for allowing us to speak again. And I know you've heard from us many times, and I know that we have the same topics, but the reason for that is the details we have asked for have not been met to our satisfaction. And I promise I won't talk about dogs today. So one thing that bothers me, and you have heard this from me before because I live closest to Camelback and 3rd Avenue, the fact that there still is no traffic study on a street that is already probably, not even an F, I would say rated a Z for how bad the traffic is, how fast they drive on this road, really needs to be addressed. And I know that's not part of the PUD, but it should be. And it should be something that is done before building starts. With the parking situation that we already have in the neighborhoods, we have to make sure that we are looking at that as well as what this will bring in, not just the newness of this community. And by the way, the community is beautiful. The Canalscape development and what it'll do for businesses is fantastic. We never want to take away from our local businesses at all. But we just want to make sure that a nationally, federally registered historic neighborhood is kept intact and not overpopulated. and our setbacks are proper for the neighborhood walking, biking, as well as playtime, you know. I also want to say something that may or may not be related, but I am concerned in Phoenix with the cost of housing, that there's no affordable housing built into this plan as well. So that's just a side note I would like to mention. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Diane Mahalski. Diane, are you on the line?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Please proceed.
Oh, good. Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. I live at 304 West Campbell Avenue. That's across the Grand Canal from the proposed project in the Apple Park and Carnation neighborhoods. I submitted a letter. I actually did some legal research on this. I thank you for reading it. If you haven't read it yet, I urge you to do so. This is a third-rate development that lacks neighborhood support, and it was approved in violation of the Walkable Urban Code and the Planned Unit Development Code. Nonetheless, we're going forward because, you know, we want to line the pockets of developers. I don't know. I beg you, please deny this. Let this developer build it under the code that existed when he negotiated the sale, or send it back and allow the neighbors to have a meaningful input into a planned unit development that will result in a better project for the city, not just for us, for the city, something that's not going to be a slum in 20 years. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Our next speaker is Lena Money. Lena, are you on the line? Lena, are you on the line? We do not have audio for Lena. Our next speaker is Jennifer Owens.
Oh my gosh.
Jennifer, are you on the line?
Okay. I am here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Councilwoman Pastor, Mayor Gallego, and Vice Mayor Garcia, as well as the rest of the council. Thank you for your time today. I also wanted to say my condolences regarding Officer New and all the other officers that have served in the line of duty and are not here today. Very grateful for their service, and my condolences to their families and the community. I'm opposing this proposal in the current form for several reasons. We've been here, my children and I live on Highland and 3rd Avenue, and we've been here almost 4 years in this community. Moved here from Seattle. Love the Seattle City Council. They were very fair and patient and took the time, as you are today, to listen to the members of the community, especially in the neighborhood. My main concern is traffic and parking at this point. I was a nurse for 20 years. I'm a teacher now. And I can't tell you how traumatic it is to take care of a child in an ICU or an emergency room and have them pass away from being hit by a car. Every day, I hear cars flying through the neighborhood, regardless of the speed bumps. Very concerned about the increased traffic. Not opposed to the building itself, but just how it is in the current form, especially without the traffic study being complete and submitted. I would just ask you today to vote no for it in its current form, please, and to consider including the traffic study and widening the sidewalks. And thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Frank Pauletti. Frank, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Yes, thank you, Councilwoman Pastor, Mayor Gallego, and the rest of the council. I live at 449 West Coolidge. I'm halfway between 7th Avenue and 3rd Avenue. Before COVID, with cars down the street, even though we have no parking signs from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., The street was still lined with cars, so the parking is a major issue. The excess traffic going to this establishment will be a major issue. The height is a problem, and the setbacks. We have been fighting for that, and no one seems to want to listen. This is also a floodplain area. Someone in the last city council said that they could withdraw this. I talked to FEMA. That's a 6 to 12-month process for them in order to pull the property out of the floodplain zone. So I really think we need to do a lot more discussions, and this project should not go through until every permit is signed and sealed and everything has been signed off and is agreed by the neighborhood. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Pam Perry. Pam, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Councilwoman Pastor from District 4 has spoken to us about leaving a legacy. Actually, all of our council leave legacies as they go through the process of growing our city. This is an opportunity for council now to make a legacy that influences long-term the strength of Pearson Place. Pearson Place has evolved in the last 60 years from being unincorporated Maricopa County to the site of a freeway that never was. It was absolutely blighted after that. There were homes without owners. There were homes without people. There were homes with people who didn't belong. It was almost a decade before it was even opened up to investors and became rental dense. Another project was building high rises, and that was going to save the neighborhood. A second round was office buildings. We have two. One of them has been occupied at one point or another. So this is a fourth initiative on trying to change Pearson Place into something else. About 30 years ago, urban pioneers started moving into the neighborhood. We've been described as disgruntled neighbors, and we certainly have been disgruntled. We were very, very disgruntled with the fact that the streets walked with hookers and the whores and the dealers and the dopers, and we had to call emergency services for people writhing on the ground because of bad drugs. We had people shooting at each other and shooting at whatever did or didn't move in the neighborhood. As urban pioneers, we learned to use neighborhood services. We learned to use, and we bless our police department. They have saved our bacon so many times here. We have Access Block Watch. You are giving a real vote for our neighborhood if you will revisit this. You are.
Our next speaker is Ivo Petkov. Ivo, are you on the line? Ivo is not on the line. Our next speaker is Kostadin Petkov. Kostadin, are you on the line? Kostadin is not on the line. Our next speaker is Olga Petkova. Olga is not on the line. Our next speaker is Jeff Rom. Jeff, are you on the line?
Level or just at the ad group? And I just said both options are available. We can either enable the auto allocator at campaign setup to spread budget across ad groups, or disable it to set budgets at the ad group level. So there's two options there. It's very similar to kind of like how you set up
Jeff?
Facebook. This is just, doesn't matter what we use for category and subcategory.
Our next speaker is Ken Waters. Ken, are you on the line?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Please proceed.
Hey, thank you for the time. This should be a canalscape prototype. This is, I think, an inaugural project, I believe, for the canalscape. But, you know, God help us. This isn't it. You're setting a model, a cookie cutter, a precedent for the rest of canalscape. But, you know, in its present form, it's a traffic bomb, 1,200 cars per day on the inside of the neighborhood, no arterial streets. They're all trapped. The setback should be 20 feet from the property line, not from a demarcation point outside of the property line. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And they should be from 20 feet from the property line in. That would save a lot of the open space. And speaking of open space, the Planning Commission passed a resolution of 15% public open space provided by the development. I mean, listen to this. Nearly 100% of meeting that stipulation went outside, outside the property line. 67% of that meeting that stipulation is coming from renaming setbacks along Coolidge and 3rd Avenue as open green space. Come on. And then also it means purchasing already existing open space with a city-owned lot there that's already garden is a rock garden. So they're not providing any. I thought that open space stipulation would shove this thing back further from the canal like it is. Many of the pictures that Jason Moore shows the building within an arm's length of the canalscape sidewalk. This thing should be shrunk back, go back to 165 units or 180. But right now in its present form, it's the anti-prototype, what not to do for canalscape. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Pamela Pawlowski. Pamela, are you on the line?
I am.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Good afternoon, Council. I'm the president of the Grandview Neighborhood Association and also the Melrose Community Alliance. I spoke at the Planning Commission recently, and I want to deliver the same message to Council today. With great interest, I watch the developments that may set precedent and consider that future impact in our Melrose district. Living in Central Phoenix, I understand that infill has and will continue to happen. My concern is how it happens, the process being as important as the end result. The process in this case suffered from a lack of substantial personal outreach in the beginning. Neighbors became involved, and I recognize and admire the great efforts of the residents in Pearson Place, Yapel Park, and Carnation neighborhoods and their unity. I believe Councilwoman Pastor to be an advocate of and an ally for our neighborhoods. I commend her for being willing to hear and understand the concerns and issues of those that are impacted. Compromise may not be accepted. However, it should be expected. The compromise set forth with the change to PUD was welcomed, and several stipulations to the developer is certainly encouraging. Holding this developer accountable is now the order of business. I hope that without loopholes or financial complaint, they will comply with and consider all stipulations. There is great value in the practice of outreach and compromise, leading to solutions that are mutually beneficial. I give my support to Councilwoman Pastor's decisions on this project, and I count on her watchful eye. I strongly support Central Phoenix development that has triangulation between the developer, the city, and importantly, the surrounding neighborhoods and businesses. Thank you for your time, Council.
Mayor, Pamela was our final speaker on this item.
Thank you. We will close the public hearing. This is a project in Council District 4. I will turn to Councilwoman Pastor.
Thank you, Mayor, for doing that. I have several questions for Alan that I had heard. I heard about the flood zone. There's big concerns about the flood zone and the project being built there. Could you explain to me if there's issues with the flood zone in the future? What happens in that dynamic?
Mayor, Councilwoman Pastor, as part of a normal development process, the zoning has to be approved by council first But then what happens subsequently before any building permits would be issued, there's a multitude of plans that have to be submitted. In this case, they would have to submit a grading and drainage plan and civil improvement plans that would have to address the floodplain issues on the site to ensure that it does not exacerbate any existing conditions in the area. In other words, if there's water that is coming onto the site, they have to still accommodate that same amount of water that's coming on site, and they can't pass through any more water than they could today under existing conditions. So they can't exacerbate any of that floodplain issues. They are allowed to build in a floodplain. You just have to address that as part of their development plan, and that's what the grading and drainage and civil improvement plans do. And I would add those are all reviewed by the city and by engineers who are licensed and familiar with all of these issues within the department.
Okay, thank you. And then there was my understanding and that there's an SRP letter that has been submitted regarding the land that is owned by SRP. Could you please speak to that?
Mayor, Councilwoman Pastor, yes, the applicant has had discussions with SRP about the concept of their improvements, and SRP has said conceptually they are okay with those improvements. They would have to enter into a license agreement with the city. As part of our agreement, we would be passing on all the requirements and any issues that would apply to that to Jason's client, in this case Trinsic, and any future owners of the site would be required to do all that and maintain it pursuant to the PUD requirements.
Okay. And then parking. Could you please explain the parking? The height on the parking side is 56, and the intent of the for additional height was for additional parking spaces. Could you explain currently if the PUD is meeting the parking requirement and plus the additional for the neighborhood?
Mayor, Councilwoman Pastor, in this case, the applicant is meeting the minimum parking requirements that are required pursuant to their proposal. In addition, they are providing additional parking spaces that are open to the public, if they are not being used, at that point, and so by the future users of the site. What they are reporting is that their excess parking above the 100% occupancy is 12.4%. Even when they're at 100% occupancy, they will have additional parking spaces available for the public.
Okay, thank you. And setback. We have been talking about setback and really the term back of curb, because I learned the term back of curb because I felt like I did when I did the PUD adhere to the 20 feet and back of curb. Could you please, my understanding is back of curb is from the sidewalk to all the way to the property line, or further back to the property line. It's not necessarily from the property line all the way back to 20 feet.
So, Mayor, Councilwoman Pastor, in this instance, you'll recall that a number of our early discussions at the meetings that you had put together with the neighbors and the applicant, the neighbors had an expressed desire to have the building setbacks match the adjoining multifamily development to the east and look similar to that, as opposed to the I think 10 and 8 feet that was proposed as part of the walkable urban code. And so in that instance, the applicant did go out and do some measurements to look at what was that existing building setback, And that's where they reported they could meet that if it was measured from the back of curb, so that it would have the same appearance to the neighbors as the Icon multifamily project to the east. In allowing that setback to be measured from the curb, it's looking at what does that visually look like from the adjoining properties, because the applicant is improving the right-of-way that is outside of the curb line with landscaping and doing the detached sidewalk so that they have this larger area, but it isn't measuring those setbacks from the property line. It's from the curb, and in effect allowing that area to be counted because of the landscape improvements in an open space that they are doing with the project.
Okay. And so my understanding and looking at, I don't even know where the slide is, but looking at the slide of the setbacks, my understanding is the sidewalk is 5 feet. So from the property line to where the building will be placed, it's 15 feet away from the sidewalk.
Mayor, Councilwoman Pastor, the setbacks as put forth in the PUD are measured from the back of curb, because the curb is existing and staying. There were no right-of-way improvements required as part of this project because the existing zoning is so intense. So I don't know what the sidewalk measurement is, but it would be measured from the curb because that's what stays, because they're going to have to build a new detached sidewalk.
So on one of the drawings, I don't know, I studied it and it said 5 feet of the sidewalk.
Mayor, Councilwoman Pastor, you are correct. The sidewalk width is 5 feet.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure when they rebuild the sidewalk, where that is in relation to the future building setback.
Okay.
I just want to be clear.
But from the side, yes, from the sidewalk, from the back of curb all the way back is 20 feet.
Correct.
So 20 feet, so if I am minus the 5, the width of the sidewalk, the 5, then it's 15.
Mayor, Councilwoman Pastor, you are correct. The sidewalk is included in that area. Is that what you're asking? It's included in that.
Correct, which equals the 20.
Yes.
Okay. So, the other piece was the parking, permitted parking. Do I have the ability to put a stipulation into the PUD regarding permitted parking?
Mayor, Councilwoman Pastor, you can add language regarding the PUD relative to on-street parking and a prohibition from the existing residents, but there is a process that would have to go through where the applicant, as a property owner, would be a part along with the other property owners, and that's administered by the Street Transportation Department. So you can require the developer to be a part of that, but there are requirements that are spelled out in city code as to exactly what that would have to entail, in order to put up signs about no parking, and that's something that the applicant would have to work with streets and the other property owners to follow those requirements, because it is a very significant process as outlined in the city code today.
Okay, understood. All right, so it's been a very interesting and challenging, I would say, last 5 months regarding this whole process. In reflecting back on this was that Reinvent Phoenix, when I entered office, this site was proposed for the redevelopment by Reinvent Phoenix, and it's a public adoption process and the general plan. So when I entered, all this process had already happened. And so Reinvent Phoenix, I inherited Reinvent Phoenix. And I was happy to hear that many people and time and labor that went into outreach to build the plan was with neighborhoods. And the request also helps implement this Grand Canalscape Improvement Program to benefit all residents in the area and benefit those that walk and ride their bikes on the Grand Canal. Mayor Gallego and I were, and Councilman Vice Mayor Garcia were part of many different pieces of the Grand Canalscape Improvement Plan and celebrations of it. Vice Mayor Garcia entered at the tail end when we were celebrating the bridge and from Brophy and Central and all the improvements that are happening. Improvements are now happening on the Grand Canalscape going west, where I get to also celebrate with Councilwoman Guardado on revitalizing the Grand Canalscape on the west side. And where our district sits is right in the middle, and we sit in the heart of the city that really pumps our city and our economy. And so I'm fortunate to be able to work with other council members on the Grand Canalscape. And they will see the future conversations that we were having today. So I understand that some of the challenges that the neighbors or some of the pieces that the neighbors have been speaking about, which are have been density, have been the setback, have been the parking, and many other things, and the height. I believe that we have, and others won't, but through this whole process, we've come to a good compromise. And I am going to move forward, and I will read it as stipulated by the planning director's memo. At my request, this project limits residential building height to 48 feet, except for the parking structure to go to 56 feet, so that the applicant is providing additional public parking in this area. I have spoken to many residents and the applicant and has modified the PUD. I have modified the PUD. The density was lowered, the height was lowered, additional open space that is accessible to the public was provided, and setbacks were increased. Additional changes were made by a one driveway access point on Coolidge, and the Juliet balconies were added to address privacy concerns by neighbors. My motion, I move to approve this request per the memo and the stipulations from the Planning and Development Directive, date stamped June 2nd, 2021, and adopt the related ordinance with the addition of a new stipulation to read as follows. Stipulation 1.H. To modify the setback standards on page 8 of the PUD narrative to increase the minimum space between the curb and the building facade from a minimum of 20 feet to also average 21 feet 8 inches along Coolidge and 3rd Avenue. This is so that the building aligns with the icon on Coolidge. I also wanted to add that that the developer work with the neighborhood on the permanent parking process.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions?
Just a quick clarification. So I think the sidewalk is detached. So You recognize that in your stipulation, correct? I'm sure you did. I know you've done the
Yes.
research. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
So, Madam Chair, Councilwoman Pastor, I would just note that you want a new stipulation that requires the applicant to work with the neighborhood and the street transportation department regarding no parking signs along Coolidge and 3rd.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other comments? Thanks all for their hard work on this. Roll call.
Ansari?
Yes.
DeCiccio? Guardado? O'Brien? Pastor?
Yes.
Stark?
Yes.
Waring? Garcia?
Yes.
Gallego?
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
Thank you. That is our final agendized item. The June 2nd meeting is adjourned.
Challenged, and we're helping them every way that we can. But what we're seeing an incredible level of is increase of new businesses picking Phoenix, of our existing businesses expanding.